Hello everybody, I'm back. I'm going to bring you now the how to get out of Silver League tutorial videos. I've been working hard trying to get something that wouldn't be too complicated to follow, but still encompass a lot of ideas for how to get out of Silver League. I've made probably 5 or 6 different editions, and so hopefully this is the last time I have to do it, and hopefully this one makes a cut and is good enough for my quality standards. This of course will be a bit longer, however long it said it would be, as there's a lot to go over, a lot of little things that I just want to talk about that really in the end of the day aren't a ton to do. And so we're going to set ourselves up against an AI. Don't worry about all of these settings though, because I just need to set them in such a way that I can easily talk to myself. So we've gone over everything from the very first game. Is very important. I mean, how to get out of Bronze League. It's all about your macro, all about good macro, which is building workers and supply. Don't build buildings when you don't need to build them. Make sure that you are actually building enough to produce off of one base, and then make sure you're expanding and building more production facilities later into the game, more than you can support off your number of bases, as you'll start to stockpile money if you get really late into the game. So, first part about refinement. This is what we're going to do. Everything is about refining that now. We want to refine our macro, we want to get better. We want to start learning a little bit about refining how to build unit compositions. We want to get into how to be able to, attack with our army better. But we're going to keep it simple refinement techniques. So of course, always building workers and supply. That's good. Well, also now we want to have really good timing. We want to learn the timing for our race. We want to learn, when do you build things at what point for your race? Like, when do I throw it on this pylon? Well, for Protoss, I throw it down at 9. You can look up simple build orders online, the general ones. I've got a few as well on my channel. And you want to know when you want to be building certain things. So we want to refine things so they line up nicely for that first little bit. We want to be doing that, and we want to, just work on general refinement, making things come out smoothly, making sure we're constantly building workers, constantly building units. We don't have to be perfect yet, but just a bit better. And of course, also, towards that goal, and of course, with using Chrono Boost, they're using your Inject Larvas, they're using your Mules. And one thing I do want to point out, see, look at this, I'm pulling my worker off the line early. This is part of that refinement. You pull off your worker just a little bit early, and then you build this right away. And of course, as soon as one's done, you're building a new one. And I want to just point out that with this whole refinement thing, I'm using hotkeys because I've just learned them, so I use them. But you guys don't have to specifically be really good at using certain hotkeys. Of course, you might want to scout. I'll take one off the line just so I don't have an unfair economic advantage. But hotkeys. I want to talk about hotkeys. I want a few basic hotkeys I'm going to go over that I want you to do no matter what. First off, always hotkey your nexus. Always hotkey your hatcheries. Always hotkey, you can call it whatever you want. Look at this, transferring to gas as soon as it finishes. That's more about refinement. Anyways, getting back to hotkey. Always hotkey your main, whatever it is, command center, nexus, hatchery. Always hotkey that. Need another pylon now. So that's very important. That's definitely one step, one thing that, no matter what, guys, do that. And as soon as that's done, I'm going to be building my cybernetics core right away. There we go. So this is always hotkeyed. Now I want you to learn the hotkey to produce workers. That's very important too. If you can't produce workers, what is the point of hotkeying this building? So, come on, there we go. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have this building hotkeyed. Very important. And you also want to be able to hotkey your workers. This is very important. Watch this. Let's say I'm looking down here at a battle or something. I want to make sure I'm building workers. This guy's selected. Well, I press my hotkey or I click on it right here. And then, bam, build a worker. I don't even have to look back at my base. Huge, guys. That's very important. I really want you guys to sort of almost take that one to heart. Make sure that, just do that. Do that basic hotkey. That is so basic. You should be doing that. There we go. Getting my, that started at the exact time that I wanted. So, getting things started. And now, the other big thing, the next thing I want to talk about for hotkeys is, definitely I'll be wanting you guys to hotkey your armies. There's no question about that. Okay, transfer to gas right away. Using my Chrono Boost, so I don't have a Chrono Boost I can use yet. Building a worker, all this good stuff. And then, okay, the next thing I want you guys to hotkey no matter what is your production facilities. Now, for Protoss,
You have not enough minerals.
it's going to be a little bit different. For Protoss, we get a free hotkey for your gateways, so I'm going to let you get away with it. If you don't hotkey your gateways as production facilities and wait until they're warp gates, sure, that's fine by me. I'm totally okay with you guys doing that. You can definitely hold off. Notice always building these workers. And of course, that production facility goes down. Now this goes down. Okay, look at this. I'm going to need another supply soon. Build that a little in advance. Look at how my money's staying low. You guys don't have to be this perfect, but this is sort of what you want to strive towards. You want to strive towards making sure that you're building things at the right time. Building them. Look at this. I've got my... Oh, look at that. Don't even have to look. That's why that hotkey is so important. Now, hotkeying your production facilities, very important. Make sure you can always build out of them. And now, hotkeying your army is the other one. Those are sort of the 4 hotkeys I really want you to know. I want you to know the hotkey for building a worker. I want you to hotkey your main centers. And I want you to hotkey your production facilities. Okay. Let's go find out what race my opponent spawned as. Okay. And now I can throw down my other 2 gateways. Oh, come on. Okay, I only want to throw down 1 gateway, maybe. Let's get an immortal first. I decided I wanted an immortal. So I'm going to do that, actually make sure I have enough money, and then throw down the gateway. Okay. Now, this doesn't have a free hotkey, so I'm going to hotkey it. Okay, I'm playing against Zerg. And he has a roach worn out. Great. That means I want stalkers and immortals. Notice I've hotkeyed my robo. This same idea now. I can use hotkeys now, or I can just click here. And notice we can always use these right here. We can always use these right here to select their stuff. But always have your army hotkeyed, no matter what. I would suggest. Some players don't do it who are pro level, but I really suggest you do it. I really highly suggest you do it. I'm putting yourself at a big disadvantage if you don't. And of course, supply block myself.
You have not enough minerals.
I am here in the shadows.
Now I want to think about expanding. You know, so all these refinement things they add up. The little things, you know. We're building our workers constantly. We're not missing workers. We're using, you know, getting stuff out at a good time. You know, we're just starting to tighten up all of those little macro things. Make sure that we're actually building stuff at the right time, getting it out at the right time. You know. Oops. Immortal, come on. I guess I don't have enough. I know I don't. Okay, now I'm starting to get high on gas. So, well, I know I'm going to want some sentries, so I'll build a couple more right now because I'm high on gas. So, whatever, build them now. Oops. And building a lot of supply right now. I've got 2 pylons building. That's because I know I'm going to run out soon. Because with these 2 warp gates, as soon as they're online again, you know, and look, bam, I want to get an immortal out. Well, I can't afford one yet. And of course, there's a point in time where you can avoid, building workers for just a little bit. And notice I've got this immortal hotkey. That's so that I can tell him to specifically attack these roaches and he doesn't damage. Look at this. I can focus on this battle, but I can also build a worker back at home. Whoa, let's pull this guy back. I don't want him to die. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Battle was so successful. A little bit of micro. You guys don't have to learn tons of micro, but, you know.
I am here in the shadows.
Okay, let's transfer some of these workers. Oops. Let's use my hotkey to be able to build an immortal. There we go. Let's use our chrono boost. Okay, so there we go. Damn it. Okay, so anyways, there we go. That is sort of the basic refinement. You know, we've done a lot of things. Okay, let's start building workers. Let's use our chrono boost. You know, we've been building buildings at, you know, decent times. You know, we haven't been like sort of messing up that majorly. So, you know, it all adds up. It's very, very important. Very important you do it all. It all adds up. And, yeah, just the little things about, you know, getting out your workers on time, building buildings at the right time, and, of course, these basic hotkeys. Why do you want to have your army hotkeyed? Well, simple. If they get in a pickle, if you leave them here and then suddenly they're under attack, you can just press whatever your hotkey for your army is and quickly have them retreat back towards your base. Don't even care, you know, just run until you can get your vision down there and look at the battle and see what's going on. Of course, being able to produce while not looking at your base is huge. Look, I can even use Chrono Boost on the mini-map, but, you know, it's very, very big to be able to focus on this, but still do production, because that's what makes you a better player, being able to focus on one area of the screen while doing things on another. Production facilities, look at that, or I could have clicked the Immortal there, you know? That is, you know, things like that, they all really, really add up, and you really want to think about that and be aware of that at all times. Of course, not transferring to that gas soon enough, not the end of the world. I want to make sure that we're still building, make sure we're still getting out those workers, very, very important. You can, yeah, I think you can get away with tuning up 2 at a time once you get a little later in the game. So, you know, but yeah, just really, really, really refine things. Okay, now I gotta get some more gateways because this base is starting to get saturated. So I know that I'll soon be able to spend more money, so I'm getting some gateways sooner. My army. Now I want to talk a few things about engaging with the army. You know, so we've just talked about your production facilities, making sure you're building things at a good time, making sure that, you know, you're being really good about building your workers, you know, stuff like that. We've talked about that, so now what about your army? Well, one thing you don't want your army to do is units don't always move at the same speed, and they start to spread out, and they form what I like to call a Congo Line. And you really, really want to avoid this Congo Line. Look at this line right here. These units in the front will get picked off if the enemy's standing right here as they come through. They'll just die quickly. So what you want to do is you always want to move in shorter distances. You want to let your army regroup. Look at this, see, still being able to build from away. You want to let your army regroup and then move them a little bit. Don't move them too far, don't let them spread out too much, and always be prepared to pull them back. If need be, I see the units there, so I'm going to pull them back and group them. Okay? So there we go. I let my units group up so that they can, you know, be as effective. Whoa, that Immortal's dying, I'm going to pull them back. So, you know, like that's one thing I do, you know, you don't want to have that Congo Line with your units. That's one thing you want to be careful about. Really, really, really want to avoid that Congo Line. You know, I really can't stress that enough. And you want to be building units. Of course, with Protoss, I have to look where I want to put them, but that's not the end of the world. Turn those into warp gates. Okay, this is almost done. Let's start another upgrade. Let's use my Chrono Boost. Okay, this base is fully saturated now. I can actually stop building workers because I'm not going to get a third base, but definitely you guys would want to keep building them if you're going for that third base. That way you can transfer them. And yeah, you know, we'll do some teching up. As you can see, we got 12 minutes into this game. I've got 6 production facilities. I've got upgrades ticking away. You know, I've got a really healthy army size. There we go, let's make it a little healthier. And I really haven't lost that much compared to the Zerg opponent. I've lost a lot less than him. So this is where that refinement comes into play. And your army, we talk about moving it around the map. Don't let it move too far at once. Don't let it get into Congo lines. Because one way that's really easy to lose is you can have a way better army than your opponent. But if you let yourself engage just a little bit off, and that can cost the game. Another thing too, here on the ramp, stalkers in the back aren't attacking. So you move up a little bit and then attack. Move up a little bit and then attack. You don't want to move too far up, because if you move too far up, your units spend too long of a time walking around without doing any attacking. And that's bad, because then they get attacked during that time without them attacking back. So you want to also be watchful for that. You know, you want to make sure that, yeah, I'm not having over-microing my units. So there we go. That is that. I feel like as if I actually made this a lot further than I planned on. So, once again, we're just going to go over and we're going to review everything now. So, we refine our build opening. We refine when we place buildings. We refine the whole point of while we're always producing these workers, always back to back, we're being very good, we set up a hotkey so we could produce these workers without even looking at that building. So that was a very important thing right there. You know, we set up those hotkeys and we made sure that we were able to produce on supply block. There we go. Okay, so we set up all those pylons. Sorry, we set up those hotkeys for this so we could build, you know, without having to worry about this whole, you know, blah 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 blah. So there we go. That's one thing we've done. We set up this on our main building that produces workers, and we've learned that hotkey, so we can always be building workers, and we're always constantly putting them out. Now, we put down our pylons at the right time, we put down our buildings as soon as we could, we brought our workers out a little early, we transferred to gas right away. Those little things that just add up, and we just start doing those a bit better, and we start getting out our workers faster, we start getting out the right buildings at the right time without hurting our economy, and we really start being able to build stuff a lot faster, a lot earlier in the game. And, you know, that's really, really great. That's awesome. And then we've also added a hotkey to our army, because it's down there. Well, if it suddenly gets attacked and in trouble, well, I can say, move away. Or I could go, oh crap, move away, and then I could look down here and say, oh, it's not a big threat. And I can bring my army back in, and they can do their business in the fight. So, whoa. Overlord, you must die. Oh, come on, Blink. There we go. Nice! Killed the Overlord. So anyways, and now of course, you know, so we've done all that refinement with our army. Notice I have 2 hotkeys. I will use this just lightly. Put, you know, your first hotkey, like sentries don't need to be on their own hotkey because they're always the first one to come up in the group. But something like Immortals, something like Immortals or Colossi, put them on a second hotkey because those units are most efficient with certain things. While Immortals, they're good in the front of your army because they take a lot of the damage, but also you want to focus fire down units like Roaches with your Immortals or Marauders. And Colossi, the thing about Colossi, why I put them on a second hotkey is, well, Colossi, you get the upgrade, they get a range of 9, you want them to be in the back of your army, you don't want them to get sniped. So what happens is your army engages, your Colossi usually end up, you know, right around here, their army is really close to yours. Well, what do? Select your Colossi, move them back, and then have them attack move forward, and that way they'll attack at their maximum range so they can't get hurt while dealing damage. And it makes them a lot more useful, higher chance that they will stay alive. Oh, I gotta kill that Spire, I don't want him having flying units. Hey, don't kill my Observer. See, look, I can build Observers without even looking at my base. So there we go. That is all of the basic hotkeys I want you guys to work on. That is all of the basic refinement. We're just being better about all of the rules from the first game, from the first Get Out of Bronze tutorial. We're just making ourselves better at that. We're practicing to be better. So we're, you know, always building workers in supply. We're refining when we build workers in supply, making sure we're always putting them out. Always, making sure we're doing them at the right time. Don't build buildings you don't need to. Okay, so we built that one gateway early on, and then we built the cybernetics core up that, and then we waited until we could get the robo. You know, little things like that. So, you know, we took our time, we built only what we needed to build, but we also built it at just the right time, so that it didn't interfere with building workers in supply. You know, and then, so that's a very crucial thing right there. You know, don't build buildings you don't need to, but we built them at the right time. We got them out right away. You know, we made sure we put them out at the right time. You know, those 2nd and 3rd gateways had certain timings, the 4th and 5th gateway, and the 6th they had a certain timing because of when we had that extra base start to get big, get ready. I don't know, you know, if that makes sense, hopefully it does, the way I said that. You know, so we built them at a certain time. And then, of course, now we go into build as much as you can off of one base. That doesn't really need much refinement. We just build them all at the right time. Same idea. And of course, you know, you want to build a lot of production facilities later into the game. We're at 18 minutes into the game. You can see my money stockpiling. Against a normal player, your money probably wouldn't have stockpiled that much because you would have lost a few more units by now. you know, or you would have expanded to a third base, you know, things like that. Don't want them to expand there. So, you know, that's another thing is, you know, you want to build those X production facilities. See, I threw down a bunch more. Well, with refinement, you'd be throwing them down earlier than I just did. You'd have, you know, you know when to throw them down, when it's ready, sort of when it's time. You know, building proxy pylons, really good thing for Protoss. That's just a little bit of a refinement that you can work on. You know, Terran race using your, you know, everything. Every race, they've got their special ability for econ boost. You want to make sure you're using that at the right time. You know, and then we went in to talk about army again. So you want your army moving together as a unit. You don't want that Congo line. You want to make sure you're engaging good in spots. Don't get taken out of position, because that's the easiest way to lose, especially if you're going siege tanks with Terrans. You don't have them sieged at the right time, or if you're against siege tanks and you attack when they're sieged. Sometimes that can just, you know, kill you instantly to do something like that. That can be a colossal mistake. Just that little bit of bad timing. Oops, the wrong button.
I am the voice of the eclipse.
I don't think this immortal knows how to get there. That's funny. So now I'm going to have a part 2 of this tutorial, because it is going to be quite long. What I'm going to do for part 2 is we're going to be going over unit compositions. We're going to go over some basic unit mixes that you can use for each race. I'm going to talk a little bit about why those unit mixes are good, how they work well with each other, some of the game mechanics they have, what you can use them against, and sort of, you know, and I'll show you some, and that's sort of something that you can use as more refinement, once again, when it comes to what unit should I be building. You want to have that thought process, and you want to think, okay, oh, I thought it took out that hydrogen without fight. That would have been funny. Whoa! No, don't let that probe there we go, that drone did not escape. Whoa. So there we go.